Political in the house. Child support, fair or fraud? We're going to start out with that topic, and Mr. Political is going to take you on a cerebral flow with political facts and perspectives that will bedazzle you and have you thinking like a whole new person. He's here live in living color. And if you hear this after, you're still going to be titillated as much as he can. And he always leaves you awestruck. Mr. Political, how are you feeling tonight?
Let me clear my throat. This is something that all Black American men, when it came across my radar, when it landed in my lap like a $2 hooker in a cheap strip club, I was totally fascinated by the ideology and the idea that Agent Orange, the most hated president since the beginning of this life, the American dream, had an epiphany as he was doing the Oprah, you want an executive order, you want an executive order, you want an executive order. He made it possible for even the young Black American man who's confused with his women, who are finding out the hard way in Georgia and most metropolitan areas, that you're not going to be able to graze on the government grass too much longer. That he getting ready to cut you to the quickness and cut you to the shortness, the same length as that hair you refuse to let be. You cannot reinvent a rag doll. At the same time, ratchet stands for rat. Child support. And Mr. Trump, may I say this, Lance T, that has had this epiphany. He said to himself and his advisors, and maybe even some of his lawyers, because today's president must come with an entourage, and it must start with his lawyers and not with his cabinet. He looked at the big perspective of getting the American male back to work to make this fantasy great again, this republic once again functionable. He came up with this great statistic. Give the father the right to the earned income credit and not the mother. Now, even though the whole nation grabbed the testicle, the whole nation went into mourning with the idea that he would even pay hands on child support. It would seem the reason that the earned income credit should go to the man, since he is out there working to take care of his child and not take care of her. Motherhood has evolved. Motherhood has been evolving, but not to the positive. Child support is a fraud and possibly a failure because it was never meant. And even in short conversations on YouTube and divorce court and child support court, because many of us have been there. Many of us do not want to go there, but many of us have disdained being there. We find that Mr. Trump threw this piece of spaghetti up against the wall, put it out there 7 days ago, going on 10 days ago, to get the attention of the Black male who has been shortchanged on the earned income credit, that have been shortchanged and is taking care of children that ain't his. Because the numbers come out now that the large majority of the colored boys got babies that ain't theirs on paper. But that shouldn't be surprising if they can put almost 11 million the time before the time they told that lie. It was 20 million. Now they say it's 11 million. They put them on Medicaid and they got the same contribution as your child got, but did not put anything in the collection plate, to the tune of almost $40 million through Western Union grams going out the country. You see the big picture here? You see the general revenue that they collected from you, my brother, that they put on somebody else, that took care of somebody else's child that wasn't even a citizen. And then less than 24 hours ago, they waved Venezuelan flags and Mexican flags. Does that sound familiar when it came through here in they march, when we had this conversation almost 8 years ago? But that time they waved flags and they marched in the streets. See, they didn't burn American flags. They didn't use profanity. I use profanity, but that's my right. I got papers. I belong here. So I hope anyone, just anyone, would be quite upset because I say I belong here, because I got people hanging from the trees and people in the ground. And I got Memorial Day coming up. And unbeknownst to a lot of y'all that don't pay attention to the news, one of almost the last Tuskegee Airmen died today. And that go back to child support. You say, what the Tuskegee Airmen got to do with child support? Well, we've always been, in one form or another, as black males, used for an experiment. And even though we were the test child for the great experiment by Delano Roosevelt, the most heinous experiment was child support. So this retrieval broke me out in verse and song. Okay, it wasn't like I could quote, "The chickens come home to roost," and that you should put more attention towards your children and maybe you should select better. And you shouldn't go for the pretty car and go for the money because they ain't even springing for dinner no more. All right. If you're gonna try to dress that pig up as a financial transaction and an investment into the future, that's just a pig with lipstick on it. I'm just trying to tell you. So, child support, earned income credit. When we look at the generated increase of the earned income credit over the last 9 years, that brother might make out by going to get a job, even a low-end job that's paying high wages now, but still considered as low wages. So maybe a brother wouldn't quit his job, but then it leaves out the zero factor, and it put in the hero factor. It leave out the zero factor and put in the hero factor. And the hero factor is that fatherhood, with or without child support, with or without benefit, is a necessary need in the black society. That even though we may be derogatory and say that that pig with lipstick on it had an epiphany and a matriarch type of thought that maybe I'll pimp the game instead of respect the game. You cannot, you will not, and it's not going to happen that this too shall pass. And even though it has been projected almost 6 days later that it was false information, that spaghetti had already hit the wall to see if it's going to stick. The only thing that's going to make it stick is humility, pride, shame, and total refusal to acknowledge that child support does not work for any race in America, but primarily is focused on our race because of our sexual habits. Those sexual habits are going to be our redeeming factor in bringing fatherhood back. All you got to do is stand up and be a man. Lean up against the wall, brace yourself. All right? Hold your Johnson and aim straight. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And how you hold your Johnson, you pick up your phone and you call your Congress. You pick up your phone and you call your state representative. And if you ain't got nothing to do, primarily if you live in the state of Florida, how about you pick up your picket sign? Instead of one less beer, one less blunt, and one less trick, march down to the child support office. It'll be better than following Al Sharpton to Costco. Just what I say. Hear what I say very carefully. Pick up your sign and march down to the child support office and show in numbers as you did in the Millionaire March, the March on Washington. And you say that if you can cut Lupe a break, and she ain't even got a vested interest in this game. She ain't putting no pieces on the table. She ain't even posting up no money. She ain't even putting no gas in the tank. But she gonna see about her. And she telling them people she ain't gonna stay. So that means that they're gonna be tightening up on child support if you do not show that you are despondent about the unfairness of it. That your wage is your wage and not her wage because she did it on her back and you have to do it on your feet for 8 hours or more. Yes, those are very misogynistic terms. But at the price of dating today, that every man should have a right to make a misogynist joke about women. Okay, it's part of the 15% gratuity tip. So how about you grab this tip? How about you take this to heart? How about you do not be despondent, do not be dismayed? How about you grab a little, tickle a little, and do a little with that? Because the game is going to change if the spaghetti sticks to the wall. Yes, if the spaghetti sticks, this possible legislation, this possible signing of an executive order, it's like the Oprah show. You want an executive order? You want an executive order? How about the brothers want an executive order? How about Mr. Charlie's left dripping, which is my third cousin removed by accident for birth in this country? How about we look beyond the reprieve that was given all these years for those who did not belong here, did not put money into the coffers, still drove their car, didn't have their wages garnished, did not have proper representation in legal court according to the Fourth Amendment, had to go before women judges who were the first to say that some white man was sexually biased against them, but they had something to prove as black women sitting on the bench that they wasn't sexually biased against their own race. How about you hold them accountable? How about you hold accountable child support officers who use and maliciously use the reporting system to gain child support so they can just move the numbers along? How about you support and you march in hope that you will be free from that indentured servitude, which is child support? Nobody is indicating, nobody is saying that no black man does not want to take care of his child. But why do my sweat of my brow must be administrated by her pimp? Yes, that is what a child support officer is. He's a pimp, all right? He go out and he get hoes for money. It's supposed to be the other way around, but he a pimp, okay? Pimping ain't easy. It's just the only game in town. And the game in town and the game in town, let's say almost, we over the 30-year mark. Going into 40 years since they ran this pimp game through Hillary Clinton, because she didn't have nothing to do in the White House while her husband was getting his cough and giggle. And maybe he spilled a little bit. That's the rumor. They say they got it on the dress. I don't know. The pop and it went like this. Ooh, that baby. Very foul in the level of respect, and that as we go each and every year forward, those original guys from that generation that raised He gave, and he gave to the extent that he wouldn't even give for you. So that should be another indication that child support didn't work. Because to get child support in this country, you ain't even got to be from this country. It's just got to be the people from this country that pay child support. And they still can't see their child. Or they got to fight to see their child. Or they got to go look for their child because some sidewise Mary then decided that she was going to drop the child off at one of her distant relatives. Because they ain't close. Because if they was a close relative, they called the father of that child. They would. But everybody pipping the child for the benefit and the check. His money. This ain't no isolated incident. This is fact that goes on each and every day. All you got to do is go down to your local child support office and eavesdrop. Just sit there on your phone, turn the volume off, and just sit there and listen to the lies, the conversations, and the trickery. That even though Orange is coming in and he's just playing with your mind, he's trying to see if you're going to get a mind and be about yours because it's getting ready to come to an end. He can't live to satisfy your woes and fans. He cannot advance. He cannot grow, and he cannot provide for his child if he's trying to make you look good so you can go out mud, so you can look in your phone for your favorite 5 and see how much you can calculate besides that child support. Child support is a lost proposition. Agent Orange is coming. He's not going to cut those who need the child support, but those who are running game, like most women, because there are more women, I found out by accident that there are more women on child support for abandoning their child than any other time in American history. But at the same time, there are more women aborting children. Well, only a woman can abort a child. You know what I'm saying? 2 wrongs don't make a right. This is your boy, Mr. Political. Give me just a tad bit of what child support is going to look like in the near future, coming to a neighborhood near you. So, brothers, stand up, pick up your picket sign, and join me in celebrating the end of child support. Join me in working within the system that is dysfunctional, unable to figure out which way to go. But your voice, your hand, and your attention will make them and show them which way they should go. All you got to do is open your mouth. You ain't got to open your pocketbook because you're already doing that to her. But open your mouth. Use your vote. Call your congressman, call your senator, call your state representative. Because this executive order, which is truly imagined by each and every black man in America, may he wants to take care of his child, may he doesn't want to take care of his child, that's between him and God and that child. And trust me, they do speak up later on. They will say who you are, what you are, and what you have been in their lives. So if you want to have your money go to your true investment and your legacy, remove child support. Hold her accountable for others spinning around and opening up her thighs. This is your boy, Mr. Political, and I am